Okay, power of a power and lots of things going on in here. And so again, exponent laws and fractions mixed. So we just have to be careful as we work through our steps. So on the top here, what we can do first is let's deal with what's in the brackets. We certainly could bring that in before we get started, but let's keep the numbers as small as possible and simplify this where we can. So we will keep the 1/2 waiting for our next step. So what we want to do is we want to say y, and we are multiplying, same base, so we're going to add the exponents. And so we can kind of think, okay, what's a good common denominator here if we're adding fractions? 3/4 plus, and that would be 10/4. Multiply top and bottom by 2. On the bottom, we're dealing with x in the same way, multiplying with the same base, so we're going to add the exponents. And so that would be 2/6. So multiply top and bottom by 2 plus 7/6. And then we will do this so we don't forget our 1/2 for dealing with later. So on the top, we would have y to the 13/4. On the bottom, we would have x to the 9/4, or 6, 9/6. And again, the 1/2. All right, 9/6, we can reduce that down. And 13/4, we can't do much with that. So let's make one extra step just to, we'll keep this the same. And here we'll say 9/6 is the same as 3/2. All right, just keeping our numbers small as we work through. Okay, so now probably a good time to bring in that 1/2. So y to the 13/8 now. In other words, we're multiplying 1/2 by each of the exponents. And on the bottom, we would have to the 3/4. And now we've dealt with that 1/2, so we don't have to write that anymore. And so, yeah, basically at this point, we're done. But we could stop and say, let's get rid of that radical on the bottom, which at this point we have that 4. So let's deal with that, make our best final answer. So we'll get rid of this. We'll say, what do we have to do multiplying that bottom in order for that to work out? If we did 1/4, then 1 plus 3 is 4, 4/4. So then we end up with just x on the bottom, which is great. But whatever we do to one side, or to the bottom, we do to the top. Okay, so on the top, we're going to end up with y to the 13/8. And I guess we usually show the x's first, so we'll put that there. And then on the bottom, 1 plus 3 is 4/4 is just x to the 1. And so at that point, we can consider that a good final answer. Some people might say, well, let's deal with the fact that for the y, the 13 is greater than the 8. So that means we could talk about 1y all by itself if we want to. So we can say x to the 1/4 y, and we'll take out 8/8, and just to make a 1, and then we're left with an extra 5/8, and that's all over x. So both of those are good and legit.